A warm welcome to another episode of Service to Humanity, your window into the Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, as it carries out its mandate of providing social inclusion and protection for the nation's vulnerable. In doing so, the ministry has also keyed into the vision of President Muhammadu Buhari of lifting 100 million Nigerians out of poverty by the year 2030. And one of the tools it employs to do this is the National Social Investment Program, NSIP. Along this line, quite a lot is happening on the N-Power component of the NSIP, as well as the Government Enterprise and Empowerment Program, GEEP. Follow us on the program and we will bring you updates on the GEEP 2.0 Enumeration, currently ongoing, as well as the recently concluded training of N-Build beneficiaries. I am Habiba Zakzok, your anchor on the program. Do stay tuned for details after the break.
I tell you, anytime we're not producing, the fish farmers suffer. The people we engage suffer. The people we feed, that we give our fish heads to, they feel it. I'll only beg the government to continue with this and make it run more.
We used to have children crying, parents will be chasing them to come to school, and they will be at the gate, they will be crying, they will hold on to their plate, they will not want to come into the gate.
When they are not giving it for some, the attendance was very low.
Now the children are always fit and healthy because of the food they eat.
You make them attend class every day.
I eat rice, meat and carrots.
I want to use this opportunity to thank the federal government for the feeding program.
We begin with the Management Diary segment, where we bring you news from the ministry and her agencies.
The National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, has handed relief goods to relatives of victims of the Port Harcourt Polo Club stampede. The stampede, which claimed the lives of 39 people, occurred on May 28 at a free shopping event organized by the King's Assembly Church to provide basic necessities to members of the public. During a condolence visit to the Rivers government and victims of the stampede on June 9th, the Director General of NEMA, Mr. Mustafa Ahmed, handed over the relief goods to the senior pastor of the church. The Director General, who was represented by Mr. Godwin Tepiko, NEMA's South-South Zonal Coordinator, revealed during the delivery that President Muhammadu Buhari had directed NEMA to distribute the materials. The items included 1,000 bags of rice, 10 kilograms, 50 kegs of vegetable oil, 30 cartons of seasoning cubes, 20 bags of salt, 21 cartons of tinned tomatoes, 1,000 pieces of nylon mats, and 1,000 pieces of towels. Others are 1,000 pieces of mosquito nets, 50 cartons of bath soap, 500 pieces of mattresses, 500 pieces of blankets, 500 pieces of brocade, 500 pieces of wax print, 100 packets of diapers, 100 packets of sanitary pads, and 100 bags of detergents. A director of the National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, NAPTIP, Mr. Josiah Emerole, has revealed that some orphanage homes engage in child trafficking. Emerole made the revelation at a 3-day media training and capacity development in Asaba, Delta State, with the theme Standard Reporting Template for Members of the Trafficking in Persons Media Corps and Officers of the Press and Public Relations Unit. He further stated that about 140 children were illegally trafficked by the owner of an orphanage home for sexual exploitation, hard labor, and fundraising. Emerole also stated that human trafficking is the world's second largest crime network against humanity, valued at $150 billion, and that the International Labour Organization (ILO) estimates that 40.3 million people are currently trapped in various forms of human trafficking around the world, with Nigeria having a large pool of victims. As such, he advised orphanage donors to conduct thorough investigation before making donations, noting that many of them have been found to participate in unethical acts that the general public is unaware of.
Welcome back. The GEEP program was launched as one of Nigerians' national social investment programs under the management of National Social Investment Office. It is to alleviate poverty by providing access to funds for Nigerian entrepreneurs who will otherwise be unable to access credit from conventional sources. Last year, the program was restructured to accommodate more Nigerians who need to get empowered. It was launched under the name GEEP 2.0. After a lot of planning, enumeration has commenced for potential beneficiaries of the program. Our crew was in Kaduna and Kano to bring us reports on how the enumeration is going. Let's have those stories.
The Government Enterprise and Empowerment Program, also known as GEEP, is an initiative of the federal government of Nigeria to provide financial inclusion and access to microcredit for Nigerians at the bottom of the economic pyramid. The program is aimed at providing capital to beneficiaries in an easily accessible way to grow their business. GEEP has 3 products, namely Trader Money, Farmer Money, and Market Money.
The official launch of the Government Enterprise Empowerment Program, GEEP 2.0.
During the launch of the GEEP 2.0 on the 24th of August 2021, the minister explained the restructuring of the GEEP 2.0 as well as its target objective.
The GEEP 2.0 is structured to effectively deliver soft loans and skills to a wide range of unemployed citizens, including persons living with disabilities, marginalized women, and unemployed youth, among other vulnerable groups in our society. Other key features of the GEEP 2.0 includes 1. Empowering Nigerian farmers, especially the rural farmers. 2. Rapid scale-up of farmer money to agropreneurship to increase agricultural produce, food security, and job creation. Market money will specially focus on underprivileged and marginalized women in the communities. The trader money will target empowerment and uplifting underprivileged and vulnerable youth that scavengers, market wheelbarrow boys, orphans, and youth with special needs.
For smooth implementation, the ministry is partnering with the National Orientation Agency. Together, a series of trainings to equip stakeholders was carried out across the 6 geopolitical zones. Following the national flag up, sensitization and registration was then carried out in all local governments across the country, where interested individuals were given forms to fill. Recently, a nationwide enumeration for selected potential beneficiaries of trader money and market money under the GEEP 2.0 was carried out. They were contacted via text messages. Chukun local government area of Kaduna State was the center for potential beneficiaries from Chukun and Kajuru local government area. The turnout was quite impressive. Abdulrahman Abubakar, the enumerator for Kajuru local government area, tells us about the exercise.
Enumeration update.
We are enumerating and upgrading the forms of those that apply for loan on trader money and market money. In the process, we get their BVN number or phone number that will show us they are the one to be screened.
Kate Osaro from the National Orientation Agency explained the response from potential beneficiaries.
As you can see, the crowd here, they really responded well. We went as far as going to the community heads, talking to community leaders to inform people. Some of them got text messages. Some couldn't get the messages due to the fact that they didn't register their name in time. But with what we have seen so far, you can tell that the response is okay because we did our work very well. Went around, we informed them, and also sent text messages to them.
We appreciate them for what they have done.
With the excitement about the progress in the process, beneficiaries described it as a chance to boost their businesses. Some of them tells us how they got to know about the GEEP program and how they hope it would impact their businesses.
Na zo na ji sanarwa ne an bayar a church cewa wani organization za su zo local government namu.
I heard the information at church that some organizations are visiting our local government in which they will be giving intervention or loans to those that need it. So I decided to go because my business need cash, which I don't have. I applied, hoping God will help me so that I can boost my business. If I get this loan, it will help my life because things will not be hard again.
Na samu wannan kudin zai taimake rayuwana domin kayayyakin da ina bukata a kasuwana ba zai zama min da wahala ba.
Wata rana ina zo na gida sai ni ji an ce ana ba da form a secretariat.
One fateful day, I heard that forms were being given out at the secretariat. So I went there and I successfully got it. So I filled and submitted the form. After some days, I was told that a list has been posted. So I went there to check. Luckily, I saw my name. Truly, we have nothing to say to government except to thank them, and may Allah reward them abundantly and to continue the good work because it will eradicate poverty and youth idleness.
Talauci da zaman banza da abubuwa da sauransu yin haka.
I am selling trade and needles, other things. I have a shop. I'm going to fill my shop to trade very well, then train my children.
In Kano, the story was not different. In Gwale local government area and Kano municipal, potential beneficiaries turned out en masse for the enumeration exercise. Even persons with disabilities were not left out. GEEP Program Manager for Kano State, Musa Ahmed Muhammad, speaks on the enumeration exercise.
The process of enumeration is a text has been sent to the beneficiaries to find them in 3 different languages, Hausa, Igbo, and Yoruba, for them to come on to come out today for this exercise, to come with their BVN numbers or their phone numbers. So when they come, they give the enumerator their BVN numbers. When they search, they will see their name, so they will give their details, and then they will capture them, their photographs, and it will be uploaded to the national server. You can see most of the beneficiaries are women, and it's the policy of the government. They want to help the youth and women, and as you can see from the turnout, a lot of women have come out, and as the turnout of the youth has been commendable.
Interacting with some of the potential beneficiaries, they tell us how they heard about the program and their plans and excitements.
Dama ina sana'a, tunda ina kasuwanci, ina harkata, ina sai da atamfofi, blouse, takalma, sarƙoƙi, in kuma sanyi yayi, ina yin kayan sanyi haka.
I am a trader. I sell shoes, clothes, jewelries, and during cold season, I need and sell at home. I sometimes grind pepper and sell. I really appreciate what the government is doing because most of the women you see are all small and medium scale business people, which when given this loan will gain from it. The women came from different areas in order to register so as to be a beneficiary, to enable some of them start and for others expand their business to be self-reliant.
Su ma wanda dama abin da ya dadirce ne akan wannan sana'a, kowa iya so ya dogara da kansa don sana'a kansa. Gwamnati irin taimakon da take yi da al'umma sai dai a ci Allah saka da alkhairi.
Na samu tantancewa alhamdulillah, ma'aikatan suna aikin su yanda ya kamata.
I have been screened. Glory be to God. And the enumerators are hardworking, very organized and attentive. The process of screening required one to provide his or her bank verification number, full name, and location so that they could all be linked to the database of the program.
Suna sawa a cikin system ɗinsu sunanka zai fito da komai wannan shine.
Kamar zan iya siyan tunda yanzu bana sai da injina gyaran su kawai nake yi.
If I become a beneficiary, I will use the money to purchase a fairly used engine of a car, fix it and sell it out. In the process, I will employ others to work under me, train them and pay them.
Kasance na ɗebo wasu ma ya kasance su ma suna ƙarƙashin.
Dole ai ka yaba wanda ya maka abu ko bai maka ba wani kaji an yi ma. Dole za ka yaba mutum ya.
Due diligence and recognition must be given to those whom have helped the masses, even if one is not opportune to be a beneficiary. I pray for the best to the organizers. May Allah help us to maintain this goodness now and always, to also keep our country safe.
Allah ya tabbatar mana da alkhairi. Ya ba da lafiya da zaman lafiya a ƙasarmu.
You are still watching Service to Humanity, your window into the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development as it carries out its mandate. Last week, we brought you a story on the graduation of 40,000 youths who were trained under the N-Build Batch C1 across the nation. Tonight, we shall bring you a story from one of the centers located in Ibadan, Oyo State, where we met and interacted with beneficiaries of the N-Build as they shared their testimonies. Keep watching.
The key post will be in the center of the building.
Akinleye Training Center, Otunagba Akin, Oremering area, Monia, Ibadan, Oyo State, hosted over 100 beneficiaries of the N-Build program. Youths from all walks of life, like their counterparts in other parts of the country, availed themselves for 3 months to get trained on plumbing,
so that it will control the pressure of the water,
masonry,
that's we are checking the level,
carpentry,
desired shape that you want to achieve,
and electrical engineering.
We used to call it also fuse box, right?
Yes.
Head of the center and builder Abimbola Shitu tells us when the training started and what has been put in place to make sure it is impactful.
The program started in December when all our instructors were trained on how to go about their training, how to take the trainees and how to handle them and how to make sure that the needed skill is impacted in them. So it started officially in December 2021, but the registration started in February 2022. So we did the registration for a month before the trainees were called upon to start the training proper in March 2022.
As a member of the Builders Association of Nigeria, Shitu shares with us the need to make sure trainees get the best, especially with the scarcity of artisans.
This program particularly is about how to train artisans. Artisans are the skilled labor who work on construction sites. And since we are builders, we try to take the program very important because it's going to go a long way to affect our profession. And since we don't want our profession to be marred with any irregularities or difficulties and all that, because presently we are having problem of availability of artisans. Many young people are not going into learning skills anymore, so it's actually affecting us on site, on construction sites. So reason why we took it upon ourselves to be a responsibility for us as professionals to make sure that these trainees were trained as if we want to use them on site.
We also interacted with some of the instructors to know how the program has been going and the level of performance of the beneficiaries. Shitu Abayomi, an instructor of electrical engineering, trains 20 beneficiaries. He tells us the aim of the training.
It entails how to train them what they want to become as an electrician and how they deal with it fairly, the experience and how to prevent themselves from hazard. So all these things to let them know the importance of this trade in the building industry, in the construction industry.
Abayomi speaks on the commitment of the beneficiaries and the future plans for them.
As you can see, they are the ones that build all these things themselves with our supervision, right? But they did it themselves. So we can, at a certain level, we can say we have done our own part, and we let them know they are still going to site to learn how the site's been. So we attach them to master artisan that they will work with, they will train them practically.
The trainer for carpentry, Kolawale Shakiru, tells us about areas beneficiaries of the carpentry unit have been trained.
I train the student on carpentry. So we touch, let me say, 80% of carpentry trade. We did practical, both theory and practical. It's just left for them to go outside there to learn a lot on site. Naturally, we did it in center here. We do theory aspect, practical aspect, like column, roof, some joints, and so on.
We also interacted with some of the beneficiaries as they spoke about the training. Adebayo Farouk, a student of law from University of Ilorin, is a trainee under the Electrical Engineering Unit.
It has been a very great and interesting experience with massive knowledge acquisition. So it's somewhat interesting, and I've gained a lot through the experience, because it's not necessarily someone being in a particular field before that person can. It's good to having knowledge about different kind of field. So it is interesting. That's why I even put my effort in having more knowledge about it.
Olaniregun Tolulope, a student of building technology at the Polytechnic of Ibadan, tells us how she got to know about the program.
I got to know it through my lecturer, and since I'm a building student, it was like it would be of a great advantage to me, and I was like, okay, let me just option in for this. And he said at the end of the program I'll be given a certificate which I will truly and surely need for my registration into the national body, that is NIOB, National Institute of Building.
Tolulope describes her experience while at the training.
I'm a building student, and this requires me to actually meet with a lot of people, artisans actually. So me being in a position as an artisan, because carpentry according to us is an artisan field. So me being in that position right now actually made me gain an experience to be a carpenter, how it is being erected, what are the things that have to be done, how I have to relate with some of the other artisans on the field.
With that, we come to the end of this week's episode of Service to Humanity. Until I come your way again next week, stay safe. Remember to send in questions and suggestions to any of our social media platforms, or drop a message on the ministry's page on Facebook or Twitter. Good night and God bless Nigeria. See you next week.